Did anyone else think of Drake and Josh when hearing the title of this movie?
M3GAN! 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 M3GAN!
M3GAN. So M3GAN is the newest movie from Blumhouse, and I'll tell you, seeing the trailers for this, I was like, hey, guess what doesn't look good? That. Cause let's be honest, this is a PG-13 horror movie that's coming out in January. Usually movies in that category tend to lean on the bad side. So in this movie, this little girl named Katie, she's lost both her parents in a car accident. So she moves in with her Aunt Gemma, played by Allison Williams. Gemma has created a new AI sentient doll named M3GAN, the Model 3 generative android. M3GAN pairs up with Katie. She's told to protect Katie at all costs. And of course, her being an AI, she's gonna take that a little too far. And now we have a horror movie. A horror comedy, really. And folks, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I had a blast with this movie. It was so much fun. I know, such a freaking shock, right? Was anyone really expecting this movie to be good? Seriously, when I heard this movie was getting good reviews, I was like, bullshit, I gotta go see this for myself. And I went to go see it, and I walked out going, yeah, that was pretty good. First off, the setup. The setup is really solid. Cause I thought this movie was just gonna be a lighthearted bloodbath or something. Although it is PG-13, so it can't be that. But we have some great setup. We get that Katie is going through trauma. So when she starts bonding with M3GAN, which I will say doesn't even happen until about half an hour into the movie, you feel it at first, because at first you're like, oh, M3GAN is awesome. She's that AI friend that's always there for her that all of us secretly want as well. The movie does a great job at building that bond, which then there's her Aunt Gemma. Allison Williams, she's great in this movie. After Get Out, we knew that she was going to be good in horror movies. Look at that, here's the proof. At first, she doesn't really see herself as qualified to take care of her niece. But then once M3GAN starts filling in that parental role that Gemma's really supposed to have, that raises some conflict, and that does bring forth a pretty deep message in the movie. That's the surprising element of it. It actually brings up like a good important message. A PG-13 January horror movie with a deep emotional message. Believe it. And I felt it. That's the best part. It didn't seem shoehorned or anything. It was a good, solid, relevant message about technology and trauma. So bravo to the writers on that. And then there is the horror element, which I'll say is also solid. And actually, I wasn't expecting this to be a comedy at all. I thought it was going for a serious horror vibe, which is why it looked bad to me. But the fact that these threatening moments with M3GAN, they actually work really well. There is a lot of tension in this film. And the audience around me and myself, we were all laughing. And I don't think it's necessarily because the moment was funny. For me anyway, I was laughing because this scary moment is actually working at being a scary, tension-filled moment, and it's because of this doll robot that looks like a sweet, innocent little girl. I mean, sure, that face is kind of creepy looking, but the fact that these scary moments were actually working, I just had to laugh. I was like, this is great! And then there will be some moments between M3GAN and Katie where the dialogue is funny too. I really do gotta give all sorts of props to the writers on this. In fact, it's worth it to look up who it is. Akela Cooper, great job, madam. This was a solid script. The visual effects were impressive as well. Cause at first seeing M3GAN, I was like, is that a puppet? Is it CGI? What is it? No, that's actually an actress, a live kid actress on the screen, and she was accentuated with CGI. Oh, okay. Wow, I would have never known. That's awesome. There are also a few jump scares in this movie. It's not a complete jump scare fest, but there are some moments where it's really quiet and you just know the jump scare is coming. I did have to cover my ears a few times. But that was part of the fun. Cause eventually M3GAN just goes ballistic. You know it's coming, you know she's just gonna snap, and I surprisingly had a blast watching that part. Everyone's saying this is like the Chucky for a new generation, and I have to agree with that. Cause it's essentially the same thing, it's a doll who kills people. Except instead of being possessed by the spirit of a serial killer, it's an AI, new generation. It totally works. Yeah, I can definitely see this being a new horror franchise for Universal. Like, I can see this being a new Maze at Horror Nights this year or next year. Like, I can all but guarantee you this movie is gonna get a sequel. So to be there for the start of that, I consider that a real privilege now that I think about it. Cause this movie could be a new horror classic. I really mean that. This movie had heart, funny dialogue, solid tension-filled moments. As for the music, it was alright. I'm not gonna go out of my way to listen to this soundtrack again, but it definitely worked for the movie. In fact, there are some moments without any spoilers where the music kind of played it up for a comedic effect. That was unexpectedly great too. Guys, I'm telling you, go watch M3GAN. You will not regret it. Word of mouth is gonna spread about this movie, and I'm pretty sure we will be seeing a lot more of M3GAN in the years to come. I cannot believe I'm about to say this, but for M3GAN, I will say, go see this movie right now. I know, but I'm just as shocked as the rest of you, so there you go. I don't know what the rest of this year holds, cause this is the first new release I'm reviewing this year. But the fact that I just gave this movie my best rating, that gives it a shot at making it to my top 10 list of movies of 2023. Seriously, holy fuck. So M3GAN, have you seen this movie? What are your thoughts on it? Am I nuts? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm seeing Mean Girls at the Pantages tonight. I actually don't know a whole lot about this one, but I'm sure I'll enjoy it. Peace!